Good morning and welcome to GM Tips. This is GM Rick here. And I guess I wanted to start out the GM Tips just really simple. I hear so many people that I respect and admire and really think the best of on Twitter and Facebook and other places, just in the abysmal depths of the abyss right now because of yesterday. And I see the venom, I see the anger, I see well, you didn't support me, you're against me. I see the vitriol of so many people against other people they would have normally never said a word of this to because they were fellow gamers and geekuses in arms and geeks of all sorts, shapes, sizes, and backgrounds. And what saddens me a little bit, sorry, I have to adjust my headset a little bit to get things kind of where I want them to be. What what really upsets me and hurts me so much is just seeing a community that I love so much and games I love so much just in such despair. Where do I begin? I mean, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. I'm just going to spend about the first 2 or 3 minutes. Please know, so many people before you have done so much to be where you are now. They have sacrificed so much, gone through so much to allow you to even be where you're at now. And right now is miles better than 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 years ago. And in all that, please do not lose hope. Please do not lose the positivity that makes you who you are, the creativity. Please do not go blocking a million people on your Twitter feeds and Facebook. Please quit unfriending people in your anger and your just utter pits of despair. Folks, these are people that have stood with you, that have done things for you, that really do care about you, that really care a lot and wouldn't be here with you if we didn't care. Despite how they voted, despite who they support, despite any of it, we're a community that is very unique, folks. The geek community is so unique because it brings all people of different religions, backgrounds, faiths, non-faiths, creationists, evolutionists, um, earth goddesses, Christians, Jewish people, Muslim, Hindu, Sikh. It brings all of us together in a community of geekery and fun. We put aside our differences. We put aside the hate. We put aside the vitriol. We put aside the stereotypes. We put aside the things that tear us in two to be a united group that loves what we love. Don't ever forget that. Despite the storms that rage around you, this is your bastion. We are all in this together, and we all care about each other. I know right now it doesn't seem it. I know if you were to ask people their voting stances, you get angry sometimes. Don't do that. Please do not torture yourself and do that. Please put it aside and hope for better things. And I say this because right now I just see the pain. And my topic this morning, and it's going to be short and sweet, is the greatness of gaming. Gaming is a great place. It is a place where we can allow our imaginations to grow and flourish. It is a place where we can become anything or anyone we want. We can be the hero. We can be the villain. We can be the cad. We can be the murder hobo. I know I use that term. We can be what we choose to be. We can create vast panoramas and dioramas of worlds. We can fight enemies and ghosts. We can put aside tyranny. We can go for tyranny. We can do many different things, all in the scope and scape of our imaginations. We come together, we laugh, people who probably otherwise would never have contact with each other. What does a former military requisition person have to do with a salesperson? What does a marketing executive have to do with a tech support person from Apple? What does a blooming artist and creative artist have to do with an engineer? What does a NASA rocket scientist have to do with a cosplayer? Do you see the geekery and fun of things we can do? We overcome our mores and our preconceived ideas to become so much greater and so much more. We allow our creativity to spin epic tales that we talk about for months and years on end. We overcome the challenges we may have, whether it's physical or social or mental or emotional. We overcome these things and feel happiness and joy and laughter and love. We are loved and we love. It is a great thing what we have, and it is a great gift. Very few can claim it and claim such a large community worldwide of all backgrounds. We are not small-minded. We are not those that shrink in the fear and doubt of what tomorrow will bring. Oh yes, we're assailed at all times by the storms that come around us of the real world. And yet in our creativity, we overcome these. Look at these beautiful paintings and puzzles that were put together behind me. People of our community made those. Look at the figurines. Look at the books, the amazing books like this that people drew out of their imagination and made so many pages for and did such great things with. Such great creativity, such amazing stories and artwork, such amazing editing and just bringing things to fruition. Things like this that shape our very fun-filled foundations. Great men and women, great people of transgender, of same-sex gender, that love same-sex people, people who are polyamorous, people who are straight, all put these together in unity, working together. People of different religions or non-beliefs put these together and work together to create such amazing works. Isn't it a great thing we have? Don't we have amazing things? My mother was an artist. She did oils and paints. She also did sculpture. She was an airline stewardess. She faced the prejudices against women. She met my father and went through some good times and very rough times and raised 3 children. She overcame the small-mindedness of her father, which hardworking man with a 3rd grade education, but very narrow thinking. She came to embrace one of my best friends growing up. Chester was such a part of my family. Chester grew up in the poor neighborhoods of Elkhart, Indiana. He had many struggles that he went through. He lost a person he loved and admired in his life at a very young age who was taken from him. And yet, this woman who normally may have never opened her doors to someone like that, opened her doors and heart. As we gained together, as he and I grew together as friends in our geekery, we had many wonderful adventures and laughter, and he was my best friend, and he stood up for me, and I stood up for him. And if someone was trying to harm him, I would stand in his corner and vice versa. He watched over me when I walked the poor neighborhoods and made sure nobody bothered this poor white kid who's walking around in a black neighborhood and being looked at like I am the Antichrist. And I'm saying that not because of religious things, but that's kind of the looks I got. And he said, he's good. And I said the same, he's good. And I defended him. And I would defend him to this day. He served our country with distinction and honor. He was a hero in my mind, and still is, along with his brothers, his family, his mother, who's a beautiful woman, by the way, one of the most beautiful souls I know. And I miss them. I miss having them here with me in where I'm living, because they live many states away. Folks, our community lets us transcend a lot. It does. Our creativity, our open-mindedness. It doesn't matter what we were taught. It doesn't matter the prejudices we were taught in our life. Our community helps us to overcome them and rewrite them and get rid of them, to be great people and have great adventures. It caused me, an introvert, yes. Mind you, look at me now. I was a complete introvert. Ask my buddy if you ever get to talk to Chester. You may see him on my Facebook if you're part of my Facebook. Ask him how big of an introvert I was. Okay? And I was the guy that stood up against the bully. I watched people who were bullied. There was one guy who I loved very much who had major mental disabilities, but was one of the most beautiful souls I knew. And people would make fun of him. And I stood in the gap, and I would not allow it. And I took hits, folks. I bled for him. I took bruises for him, and I hurt for him. So never doubt, when some of you want to judge me on here, please understand, I know what it's like to stand up for you. I do. And I would do it again for any of you. Okay? I am a strong believer that those who have the inner strength stand with those who are not quite there yet and don't have that inner strength. We are your champions. We're not perfect, by no means. We got chinks in our armor, chinks maybe in our belief system, chinks in our upbringing that are there, that someone could easily drive a point of a blade through. And yet we still stand with you, and we still do. I live in a 70% Muslim community in my apartment, okay? The other 10 to 15% is either black, Hispanic, or Indian. And 5% is my background and race and belief system. Haven't moved, lived here for 4.5 years. Don't feel at all alienated, very friendly with my neighbors. Love to get to know them, very warm towards them. Don't have a single prejudice bone against them. And it's come because of our community, folks. It helped me so much to understand and want to learn. It's kind of one of those things that it gets you to want to reach out to new horizons and realms. We want to go somewhere that no one has gone before. Because we are the geeks of tomorrow. We are the innovators. We are the dreamers. We dare to dream the dreams. Remember Willy Wonka, where he said to Veruca, "We are the dreamers." And then he went into his speech. I love that. One of my most favorite parts of Willy Wonka. Because that's really what it's all about. Don't doubt us. We are the dreamers. We are the visionaries. We are the unifiers. We can take whatever outcomes come and help shape the world. That's the great part. You are not insignificant. It's kind of funny. I want to share a little story here, and I think it goes along with the greatness of gaming. One of my Twitter friends shared some very deep things with me. I won't share them because they're very deep and very, very personal to this person. But one of the things they did share that was wonderful is how much the gaming and the gaming community has become their light, their hope, their belief, their strength, their joy, their fun, their dreams for tomorrow. It helps that person to fulfill their dreams in so many wonderful ways. We sat and talked about the plane of magma last night. After all this election madness, we're talking the planes of magma and sharing geek photos with each other of all these cool creatures and things we can do and storylines. And I'm loving where that person's going. They're liking what I'm putting up there. We're having a great time. We lost track of time. We spent 2.5 hours doing this. Now I'm gonna be a little tired today for work. Don't get me wrong. But this is the greatness of it all. This is it, folks. This is the wonders of our thing. And you can hear Mini GM. I'm raising the next generation right here. I hope my son will come back to it. Keep game for it. I hope one day to include my oldest as well as she becomes a teacher. I hope I can get all of them to fall in love with these type of activities so that there will be a love that continues to the next generation. I want them to embrace it. I am converting my fiance to geekery. She was part geek. She's moving there heavy. And not with much effort, just introducing it and letting her experience. This is the wonder. You know, we had a guy join my group, a Pathfinder. He was a tabletop wargamer. Played a little D&D, but not much. He was more the tabletop wargamer. He has become one of the most invaluable members and one of the most wonderful people in my whole group. He is by no means conservative. He lives in a wonderful Arts District neighborhood. He's an older gentleman. He's in wonderful task of marketing. And he's just such a great person to be around and a lot of fun. And he and I've got some similar interests in soccer and some other things. We would have never spent time with each other. We would have never hung out just going to that comic book store that's near us, were it not for gaming. We would have never crossed paths, and I would be the poorer for it. And that's saying each person that touches our lives, we have so much to learn, folks. We are not arrived. Those of you that fear for tomorrow, you're not arrived yet. None of us are. We have a long way to go. We are the learners. I was taught, and I go back to this well so many times because I think it's an invaluable lesson to both gamers, GMs, and creators of game systems. My good friend at the time and co-worker who was helping me transition from being an engineer, an inside sales engineer, to a salesman, said to me, Rick Ladd, and he said it in his brogue because he was second generation Irish and a thick accent, and I loved him for it. He said, Rick Laddo, let me tell you something. He says, never cease to learn. You are always learning. You never have it figured out. You never have this world figured out. You never have your life figured out. You never have your job figured out. You are always learning. And keep that lesson, because so long as you continue to learn, so long as you continue to grow and want to learn and desire to seek to understand, you will never fail. He says, however, the moment you think you got it all figured out, the moment you think you understand this world, the moment you think you understand your customers, the moment you think you understand your life, the moment you think you understand what you're sharing with others, is the moment you need to go and hang up your hat on that hat rack over there and go golfing for the rest of your life. What a profound statement that shaped my world. And I was 25. Hear Mini GM over there. She loves to be heard. You're going to hear lots of her. I could have done that. I was 25 years old. I could have given up. By 29, I was the first branch manager that young to take over a branch of our rep firm. Imagine that. Went from an inside engineer, very little people skills at the time, but learning, to the branch manager and top salesperson. But without his teaching, I would not have gotten there. And I made some mistakes and I failed, and I changed jobs and went a different direction. And I went through a lot of ups and downs. And let me tell you, life has not been easy for me. Life has not been a cakewalk. My job world has not been a cakewalk. But yet, that guiding principle has been the thing that has kept me on the path to succeeding. And if it were not for that lesson, I don't think I would be here today, maybe. I don't even know where I would be decision-wise. I don't know if I'd have 3 beautiful children in my life that I love very much. I don't know if I'd have the wonderful fiance I have, because I've made my mistakes, believe me. 2 marriages, made my mistakes. Have no room to sit here and judge any of you on love or relationships, believe me. And the wonderful thing about gaming is gaming helped me to take that and put that into play in my gaming world. And it's what's opened so many doors for me there and made life such a better place. And it came from situations where I could apply it to gaming and then apply gaming things to the real world. It's amazing how you can do that. It's an amazing gift. We have such wonderful material to draw from. We have such wonderful, wonderful artwork to draw from. We have great comprehensive rule sets in almost any type of rule set you want to have. You can do anything. You can play anything. You can be any genre. You can be any time period. And Mini GM's just going to take over my whole video, aren't you, Mini GM? Janet, are you going to take over the video?
No. I'm talking to dog.
There you go. She's talking to dog. And playing with dog. I do that because, guys, I want you guys to see a lot. I don't live richly, folks. And probably my richest asset is my gaming stuff. I love it. I'm invested in systems. I'm invested in dice and mini figurines. And that's what I'm going to leave my children, is my collection of gaming stuff. Go figure. And swords and other things that are geek. And that's it. And that's the wonderful thing. We live together in such a great community. We get to go and change around. We get to play things like Dungeons and Dragons Encounters and Pathfinder Society and various other ones like the Numenera Society and No Thanks Evil. Yes, Shanna, I gave you your prop. Even after yesterday, and I know, hard day for you, but I gave you your prop. No Thanks Evil. Get it for your kids. If you don't have it yet, please, folks, invest into that geekery for your youngins. Because let me tell you something, great system. Everything I've read about it, love it. Love the simplicity. Love that it'll get kids involved. I can't wait to get it for her. A little bit later. I'm almost there, Shannon. Another 2 years, I'll have it for her and have her playing it. Thank you for that creativity that we have in our community, that we can do such great things and teach our children such great, wonderful values. Do you know gaming has helped more people to integrate socially and textbook wise? They've helped them to overcome more disabilities and challenges, to turn them into not disabilities but strengths. I love our community for that. I love it. I have had so many people that I love in my life that have had challenges in their lives. My son has a challenge in his life. You know, he's a smart kid, wise kid, but he does have a challenge. I'm not going to go into it because if he watches this, I don't want him to feel like I'm singling him out. But he does. He has a challenge. Does he let that limit him? No. No. He is determined he will be what he wants to be in life. I have a beautiful daughter that has gone and traveled the world and gone places, guys, that some of you would dream to go. Helping people and loving people and doing things like I could see her doing things with Doctors Without Borders, because that's her heart. She just loves children and people, and she is there, and she does such beautiful things. My son wants to follow in that. Mini GM, I have a feeling, will do the same. So keep in mind all these things. This comes from the geekery in our lives. They were huge Disney fans, huge geeks when it came to that. My son loved Pixar, Disney. So did my daughter. So does Mini GM, my other daughter. It's the geekery. And yet it helps us to overcome and see past. We don't see each other with these limitations or challenges or differences in ethnicity or sex or other things when we're gaming. All we see is fellow gamers, people who want to adventure, people who want to have fun. I was so honored to have a transgender person join our party. I wish they could stay. I'm going to say they because I don't know whether the person wanted to be known as a he or a she, and I don't want to just place that thing on my own understanding. They enjoyed it for a while. And sadly, I wish they would have kept coming back. Maybe it was the adventure, maybe it was the genre that didn't keep them there. I hope it wasn't anything otherwise because they were very welcome. And I was very excited to have them. They brought so much to the game and so much to the creativity. And I would tell you now, I would open my table to anybody of the LGBTQ persuasion. You are welcome. You are fully welcome. You will not be judged. You will not be stereotyped. You will not feel like you're 2 inches tall. You will be a major part of our party. Okay? One of our gamers is Far Cause Left. Love him to death. He's a friend I've had for so many years. One of the best people in my life. And I told him, I said, you know what? I know you're hurting after this. I know you wish Bernie could have gotten picked. I know you wish things could be different. Come game with me this weekend. Come game with us again. He goes, okay, my schedule's open. I said, come. Come, heal, and play. And we'll just take it one weekend at a time. All we can do, right? That's what gaming is, folks. I hope this again, I'm not going into techniques. I'm not going into other things. This is me trying to help everyone else to see gaming is our sunshine. Gaming is our beautiful sunset on the horizon. Gaming is us soaring on the wings of an eagle. Gaming is us floating among the stars. Gaming is us being Picasso and uh, Van Gogh. And let's pick some beautiful poets. Frost, Keats, Yeats, Thoreau, Shelley. Gaming is all these things for us. Gaming is being the next Jim Butcher or the next Kim Harrison, writing a story that other people would love to read if it was written in book form. I'm so excited that we have people like the Wizards of the Coast, Monty Cook Games, Green Ronin, Kobold Press, uh, Frog God Games. I know I'm going to miss some of you guys. You're going to go, Rick, me. I take hours listing all of you out. We've got people on the podcast like the Humble Fumble. We've got people like the Steel Empire, Rollistas, DM Deistress, and the Dead Dice Society. We've got people like that. We got people who podcast like okay, I'll get it here in a second. Like Tiny GM or Tiny DM, who does a lot of Twitch casts, and Angry, who also the Angry GM. Love Angry. Angry's a good guy. He spouts his stuff, but I can tell by just talking with Tiny that he is just one super human being and has overcome huge challenges in a good way and is where he is. We have all these wonderful people. We have people like Critical Role, who is so idolized so much to every gamer and geek among in the world, and whose values and whose speeches mean the world to these people. We have people like um, Zern75, who's one of my friends on NGM Pathfinder GM on Twitter. We have people like Dakeen, the Dakeen Army. We have people like Chaotic Anarchy. We have people like Liquid Fire. We have all kinds of different people. We've got people like Baphomet and her buddy. And I always forget you. And you're going to kill me, but I can see you. I can picture you in my head. Please know that I am thinking about you. We've got all these people that do stuff and noof games. Yes, give me one more minute and I'll finish up. We got people like Noof Gaming who put their aside all, how will people think of me, to go on to Twitch and YouTube and put things in. We got people like Ask Ren. We've got people like uh, Encounter Role Play Games. Thank you for all these great people. Thank you for all the people that are a part of it. You make our community a beautiful place. Focus here, folks. If nowhere else in these next 4 years, and if you don't feel secure anywhere else, feel secure here. We are your friends, despite what we may believe, despite what we voted, despite what anything that goes on. We are here for you, all of us. We are a united community. Never forget that, and never forget the greatness of RPG. Thank you, and I hope this inspires a few of you today. Feel free to comment. If, God forbid, something I said offends you, you can unfriend me if you want. I hope not. I don't unfriend any of you. You guys are greatness. So have a great week.